What's up, everybody? This is the Complete Pharmacist. Thanks for joining us today. We have Pharmacist Money, Financial Freedom Faster, or the FIRE movement. And we have some exciting things to talk about for those of you that are interested in financial or leveraging the pharmacist great salary to become financially free. And we have a lot of great content today. I would like to urge you to subscribe for more content, at least like our video for the YouTube algorithm. So let's get started. So pharmacists are able to become financially free and retire early, known as FIRE. We have this as a possibility because of our great income generating possibility. And what I really wanted to go over is how FIRE can be done. And we have a great book that we're going over, a great opportunity. The book is called Creating Wealth. It's by Robert G. Allen. And if this is kind of confusing because I'm not going exactly on what the video is going off of, you can always mute me and then just watch the video or go to the article. But so the Robert G. Allen book actually talks a ton about this one specific type of way to become financially free. And I know a lot of you think that, I've been working so hard to become a pharmacist. Why would I, want to be financially free from that? And there are some people that really appreciate freedom. And so they might want to do a part-time gig or something of that sort, where others might want to work till they're 65, but you're still going to need to learn how to live off a nest egg. So this video is still going to apply to you. So there's different types of fires, like a barista fire, just a part-time work. You can live off rice and beans and live super frugally. You can just have a regular lifestyle, or you can have what's called the fat fire and live in luxury. The more crazy you want to live, the better it is, but there's a ton of different types of FIRE. So FIRE stands for financially independent, retire early. If you've already, or you're here, you probably have a good financial background. And so we're just going to kind of go over, there's a lot of things to go over here. We're trying to condense it into figuring out how much you need as your nest egg in order to live financially independent, the lifestyle that you want to. So we'll go through the calculations first, more or less, of how to get there. So there is a great way to get to FIRE faster, and I am going to go over this a little bit later, but I don't think it's emphasized enough, and that's why I'm bringing this Creating Wealth book by Robert G. Allen to the front. So we'll get to that in a little bit, but basically what I need you to do is create your net worth by taking your assets and liability, and you can do this through personal capital. I'll put the link below, but you'll just do a simple linking up of like your 401k, and everything will be real time. You can do it that way, or you can do it manually or through Excel spreadsheets. Next, we'll need to track your monthly expenses. You could do that through Mint, also an app, or you can do that manually, and then multiply it by 12 to get your annual amount. So it's difficult to calculate all your net worth in one place, which is why it's nice to have personal capital, but you certainly can do it. And then your monthly expenses can be extrapolated to annual expenses by multiplying to 12. So these things are necessary to calculate your FIRE, or your nest egg number. And there was a great Trinity study it's called the Trinity study, and it took a asset portfolio of 50% bonds, 50% stocks, and it uses multiple year time frames, 30-year time frames, to figure out whether or not somebody would lose out on their retirement, like run out of money. And they found, based on all the years in the United States, that over a 30-year time frame, a 4% withdrawal rate with a 50% stock, 50% bond, you would not run out of money, basically. And so that's where the 4% rule was born, and that's a steady withdrawal rate that you can use in order to kind of start calculating, thinking about how much money you need. It helps get to that nest egg number. So you don't want to touch the principal, so it's just a steady stream of income. So this is step one, is kind of figuring out what type of money you need or how much money you need. You could also kind of play this to where if you have enough money in the bank, you don't have to take it out when the market's low. You can wait until the market goes high and then preserve your wealth or principal, so you can take out more when it's high and then live on that when it's low, kind of thing. So how we're going to go about calculating the FIRE number, what you need to do that is the duration of your retirement. So if you're 30, you're going to think like 60 or 70 years, which is a long time. So you need your monthly expenses, how much you currently have as your net worth, other possible income streams like pensions. You could consider doing a reverse mortgage of home equity. We'll kind of get into that. And then lifestyle that you want in your retirement. So there's a lot to go over. I always thought that $1.4 million was necessary, because if you use the 4% rule, then you need $60,000. And then once you hit Social Security age, it can cover more of your medical expenses. But I don't necessarily think that's totally the case. Like if you really wanted to know your FIRE number, you could come up with a best case, worst case, and then most probable case. Pilots do this while they're in the air, and that way you can figure out, like, maybe be conservative and do the most likely and the worst case, and try to optimize for that. But we'll get to that here in a little bit. But I just assume that you already know how to utilize different tax advantage accounts, and they're awesome to utilize, and you should be utilizing them. If you have this great pharmacist income, then you can put in $29,000 to $35,000, depending on company match, every year, and have that grow with normal growth. And you can get to financially independence. It's just going to take quite a bit of time. And so I'm going to I have the book in front of me, so Creating Wealth by Robert G. Allen. If you started with $100,000 and you wanted to get to $1 million in a 5-year period, you would need a rate of return of 59%. In 10 years, you would need a rate of return of 26%, 15 years, 17%, 20 years, 12%. And 30 years, you would need 8%. So that's just starting with $100,000, which, it would take 3 to 4 years to get to that $100,000, and then you need, an average rate of return over 30 years of 8%. That's a ton of time, which also means that you need to work during those times, because you don't have a steady stream income, and that's for only $1 million. So the the biggest opportunity for financial independence is going to be after you do your tax advantage investment accounts. What we really are trying to do is create enough net worth. And net worth is difficult to build, but there's a way to do it that I don't think is emphasized enough. And especially with high incomes like pharmacists, you're able to generate. And so this is the big target here. It's creating income off of investment properties, but there doesn't seem to be like a pharmacist centric focus on creating wealth, especially in your early years. The goal is to create wealth, not preserve it. Later on, we can go into preserving wealth, but basically, Robert G. Allen has laid out this great way of building a portfolio, and that portfolio includes buying investment properties, but there's particular types of investment properties that we'll go over. But basically, there's a bunch of ways to win with real estate, and creating this portfolio of real estate properties. So I sort of laid it out, but mid-level cost townhomes or single-family homes or even condos near your area will be a great start to your investment portfolio. And I wanted to go over what that means because they're always going to be in demand and they're always going to sell in case you need to get in and out, making them a bit more liquid than some of the high cost townhomes or houses. Since people are always needing a place to live, inventory is low, especially with that lumber shortage. High income earning pharmacists should be able to buy homes and leverage their wealth. And right now we have extremely low interest rates. So we are able to put down payments on house to create rental units, and that way you are able to create equity in these homes that are going to develop into much more net worth, and we'll go into the actual net worth calculation over a period of like 5 or 10 years. So since pharmacists are logical, it's easy to see like that getting to even $100,000 worth of 401k or tax advantage net worth, and then having that accumulate into $1 million at 8%, it is a way to get to financial independence. But in order to grow your net worth to become FIRE or some version of that, or some sort of net worth building machine, the idea of real estate investing I don't think is talked about enough. And so there's a strategy that Robert goes over in his book. And so you're creating your own rental property, and the rental property creates value in more than one way. So it can create value based on passive income through the rent that you get. It's going to appreciate, and it's a leveraged appreciation. So leveraged appreciation means that your home will be like $300,000, let's say, and we'll get into the calculation, but it'll be $300,000 at like 3%, and then so that'll be about $9,000 plus the amount of money that you're going to get in equity, which will be another like 1,000. So then 1,000 per month plus or times 12 months makes it $12,000. So that'll be $21,000 or even more. These are pretty conservative numbers. So that's for one rental unit. Um, so the each rental property provides an opportunity, but it also, you need to protect your downside. And in order to protect your downside, you have to get enough insurance, make sure that you purchase the property through an LLC, and you can get your LLC through, you don't even have to go through the state that you live in. You can go through a separate state like Delaware, that have favorable tax laws. But if you don't feel comfortable with that, you can always get it in the state that you live in. And then usually, they can't touch your personal assets when you buy it or put it under an LLC. And then 2 to 3 units per LLC, so you're not putting too much at risk. Or some people just do 1 LLC per rental property. So the assets grow over time. You have, that $21,000 for one rental unit, and then the next rental unit will provide about $21,000, and then that's annual. And then you start to get into 3 units, and then you're at $63,000. And these are, remember, conservative assets or conservative numbers. And there's a bonus way to win that I'll get into later that will add even more value to you. So the strategy that Robert G. Allen puts in the book Creating Wealth is that you would buy 1 home per year for 10 years, which seems aggressive to a lot. You can do 1 home every other year. That's totally fine. It's just going to take a little bit longer. But so 5 to 10 years, you're going to have a lot of equity and appreciation into that build that you could end up consider selling and using to buy more real estate, which is crazy to think of when you've been buying so much real estate. But what's great about once you have all that equity in your home is that you can end up selling that home, using the money to purchase your current living space and not have a mortgage, or pay off the remaining mortgages of your other rental units, and then you have a passive income stream because of the rental income. And so this is huge because you've bumped up your net worth by approximately $21,000 per rental unit per year, and then you're able to use that money to put it towards your mortgage of your home to pay off in full, so you don't have a mortgage payment in your home anymore. And then you're able to, maybe if you want to pay off, say in 10 years you have 10 homes, you're able to sell 3 of those homes or 4 of those homes to help pay off. What you do actually is sell off the homes and purchase new homes, full and outright. So then you have the passive income stream, because you're going to be hit with a tax, capital gains, and once you sell. And so you actually want to do a 1031 exchange to buy new properties, because of how tax advantage leverage. But that's the next 10 years. So then you would have a passive income stream, and you would want to use this 1031 exchange. But I just wanted to kind of go over the strategy of multiple, this all builds on itself. If you have 10 properties, you'll be getting approximately $21,000 or $210,000 in net worth build in 1 year. That's amazing. And that doesn't include your tax advantage accounts. So this is the opportunity of really creating some massive wealth. And so and using all of the equity that you've built over the years to buy real estate free and clear will help get you to this next financial independence. And I don't know if this is really touched on enough. And once you have your mortgage paid off, I mean, your daily living expenses, depending on how you live, will probably be easy to cover with some of the rental properties. So, especially if they are free and clear too. So, um, I kind of have been glossing over this already, the appreciation piece, but I highly recommend at least considering everything in this book, because there is so much to go on, because he tells you what type of places to buy, and he goes over that, but don't forget to buy enough insurance, and then also don't forget to have at least 3 months of monthly rental income. You need 3 months worth of monthly mortgage payment for each rental property that you own. That's just to be conservative and safe. And so every year you're going to have more money to maintain those properties in case you end up finding yourself in a place where you can't find a renter or tenant. So yeah, in this instance, I always thought it was $1.4 million. That might still be the case, but without a mortgage payment, you need way less money to become financially independent. And that's why I think they don't tell you about wealth creation in pharmacy school. And so I wanted to make sure that this was well understood, that there are strategies that pharmacists can use with the high net worth. Obviously, you're going to need to become a real estate investor, which takes time, but with your high IQ, I'm sure you can figure it out. You just need to find some good properties, mid to lower level, in good neighborhoods, where your monthly expenses can be covered through the rent, and then you just rinse and repeat. Find a good real estate agent, find a good insurer, and then find a property manager. And then the more properties you own, the less the property management's going to cost. So it truly is passive. So all right, we finally got to the place where you can win another way, which is each home has depreciable things in it, such as your roof or your patio, your deck. Things depreciate over time, and they know that. And so accountants know this too. And so if you're a renter, then you've always probably just gotten the standard deduction. But when you have more than one home, your deductions of depreciation will go down. Will exceed the standard deduction, meaning you can deduct more on the depreciation of your properties, and that will reduce the taxable income that you have, because the less taxable income based on the depreciation that's occurred means that that's more money in your pocket that you get to keep, that you can put towards your real estate investments. I think this also isn't highlighted enough as like the third way to win. So appreciation, rental income, and tax advantage. So your net worth can really grow quite a lot. So if you were only to have 3 properties, and go much more conservative route, plus your own home, you can have $84,000 per year, plus another tax advantage account investment of $32,000 a year, and that brings you to $116,000. And that doesn't include any rental income or tax savings or investment returns. That is a huge net worth boost, and that's why I think this FIRE strategy works for you, even if you're not going as aggressive as what Robert G. Allen says. So I would like to hear from you. First of all, I'd like for you to subscribe if you like this type of content. We go into pharmacist stuff too, but this kind of rounds out the pharmacist experience. like we like to do at The Complete Pharmacist, because they don't talk about wealth creation. But how would you like to spend your extra time? Would you exercise more? Would you read more books? Would you learn a new skill? What would your hobbies be? How would you spend it? So I would like to hear that. If you're already financially free, it would be helpful to hear from you, or if you're already on that track. So please put a comment or just like or subscribe. Thank you for joining.